Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Adamancipator, one of the best decks in the current format for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, thanks to this guy, Block Dragon. Currently banned in the TCG and the OCG because of this deck, and the fact that it's really good for rocks. So let's quickly discuss the deck and how it works. This is going to be more of a basic guide, not specifically an advanced guide, just sort of to help you understand how the deck works. But the problem with this deck is that it is not linear. There isn't a single combo that you do because of the fact that you have to excavate cards. You don't really get to search out something specific. You kind of just have to play with what you end up getting, which can be a little bit problematic or a little bit difficult to fully utilize. So let's quickly talk about the individual cards and why we can include them in deck building, as well as what to look out for when deck building, and how all of these cards synergize. So first and foremost, let's talk about the actual Adamancipator cards. They have three main deck tuners with Analyzer, Researcher, and Seeker, which all can special summon themselves from the hand. Analyzer special summons itself if your opponent is the only, if only your opponent controls a monster, Researcher special summons itself if you control a rock monster, and Seeker special summons itself if you control an Adamancipator card. All of these also have the effect to excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and then special summon a level 4 or lower special summonable monster, rock monster. So, they're geologists, they go searching for rocks, it's pretty self-explanatory, but in all honesty, you kind of want to max out on all of these because they are really good levels. All of them are 2 or 4, and they are easy to search out with, easy to special summon, I should say, and with Raptite, with their own effects, etc. And they allow you to get your combos started. So maxing out on these is very nice. However, with the new ban list, Analyzer did drop down to 2, so do keep that in mind. We can only play 2 of him in Master Duel. Moving on, we have some rocks for the Adamancipators to special summon with the Adamancipator crystals. We have Dragite, Leonite, and Raptite. Now, these are all kind of weird, and currently, because of the fact that we still have Block Dragon, these aren't necessary to be played, but they are worth considering. They are all level 4. They are different attributes, water, fire, and wind, which gives your Raptite, Leonite, and Dragite synchro monsters better effects when they are in the grave. So, let's quickly talk about what they do. If this card is special summoned by an Adamancipator card, you could draw a card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target a water synchro, return it to the extra deck, place this card on the top of the deck. It just gives you extra synchro material, as well as just being able to recur itself. The main effect is that draw one. It's very nice to reveal this off of something like a Seeker, and then draw a card. Dragite's probably the best of the rocks because of that effect. Moving on, we do have Leonite, which is also pretty nice because you can stack your deck. You just place an Adamancipator card from your hand or graveyard on top of the deck, which is pretty nice if, like, say you have Analyzer, right? You could, go Seeker, special summon out a Leonite, stack your Analyzer, which, if you're going first, you're not going to be able to have special summoned, and then go into Raptite, which then could special summon out the Analyzer. Very nice. Not as good as just drawing a card, but still very good for ensuring that you get your combos off. And then we have Raptite, which, if this one's special summoned, you can place a rock monster from your hand or graveyard on top of your deck. So this one is more generalized, which is why it's a little bit better than the Leonite as well. So it's Dragite, Raptite, then Leonite, if you're looking to play them. Also, the attribute for Dragite is way better, and Raptite, the attributes do matter, oddly enough. So, yeah. And then they all have the same effect where, if there's a water synchro or a fire synchro or a wind synchro, they can send it back to the extra deck to special summon themselves. They're nice targets, but we can play better ones. So let's talk about the other targets that we end up playing. Doki Doki is probably one of the best rock monsters in the deck. What you do is you discard a rock monster to special summon a rock monster of the same original attribute and level as that monster. So that's why we're playing all earth rocks mostly, and why having the Adamancipator crystals isn't as good. We're not playing any like fire rocks or anything like that, so discarding something like a Leonite doesn't get you anything. However, you could discard something like an Analyzer to special summon out any of your other level 4 rock monsters, or you could discard any of the level 4 rock monsters to get Analyzer. It's very, very nice. You could also discard a Doki Doki to special summon out either Researcher or Seeker, which is just really solid. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to discard to special summon with Doki Doki. One of the best combo extenders, as well as one of your best normal summons, just in general. It does require you to have another monster in your hand, which isn't that big of a deal. Moving on, we have Koaki Mairu Guardian. This one is just a monster effect negation, and it's a level 4. It's very, very solid. You want to get it out as soon as possible. If you normal summon it, it's also very good. The biggest problem is that you do have to have a rock monster in your hand in order to reveal at the end of the turn. Otherwise, you have to send this card to the graveyard. But that's not that big of a deal because we are playing a whole bunch of rocks, and we can search them through Block Dragon. We are also playing a Koaki Mairu Supplier, which, when it's special summoned, adds Koaki Mairu Guardian. Also, if a face-up rock monster is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from the hand. So it's very good to draw as well, hence why we're playing 3 of it. So, yeah, it's just another free special summon, basically. Then we are also playing a Prank Kid engine with Prank Kid Roxy's. Roxy's is really solid and was currently limited to 2 in the Master Duel ban list. But basically, the reason that we play this is because it allows you to go into Meow Meow Moo, which is also a rock earth. And then you can go into Dodle Dodle Doo by special summoning out the Dropsies off of the Roxy's effect. The reason that this is so good is because 1, it gets you into a Link 2 for free. 2, it's another target for our Adamancipators. And 3, it allows you to potentially cycle through cards with the Roxy's effect, gain life points, and it puts a water into the deck, into the grave for Dragite's effect to negate a spell or trap. So real quick, Dragite, if there's a water in the grave, it can negate a spell or trap card effect once per turn. So that's why putting Dropsies in the grave is so very nice. Moving on, those are all of our, well, most of the targets that we would play multiple copies of. We can also play things like Revival Golem, which if it's sent to the graveyard, you can, you can either, if it's sent from your deck to the grave, you can add it to your hand, or you can special summon it, but it's just another level 4 that is kind of good. It's another level 4 Earth Rock. Something worth considering, because it just kind of brings itself back. We also have Tackle Crusader as another Earth Rock to look at. If it's sent to the graveyard in any way, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense position, or target a spell or trap your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. So, all in all, it just is a better going second option. I'm not that big of a fan of either of these. They're kind of okay, but we don't need that many targets, just because we already have a lot through the triple Doki Doki, triple Supplier, triple Guardian, and double Roxy's. It really doesn't seem like that is too necessary, but it's worth considering. Another thing that's worth considering is playing Unexpected Die and then a normal rock earth monster, such as the Statue of Easter Island, because it's funny. The reason that this is so good is because you just special summon it out, and then you can go Researcher in order to get your combo started. You could even normal summon something like Seeker or an Analyzer to get to continue your plays, and then proceed from there. So all in all, it's still something worth considering, and currently that's how Adamancipator kind of plays in the TCG without Block Dragon. They'll play like Unexpected Die and then the target for it. It's not the greatest, but it is worth considering. Moving on to other notable cards in here, we are running a whole bunch of one-ofs. Notably, we are running Gigantes and Buster Dragon Destruction Sword, as well as Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion. So Gigantes, we can search off of the Block Dragon, and it just special summons itself by banishing an Earth, which is why we want so many Earths. And then it's a level 4 that just special summons itself. That's mostly the reason why it's played. It can also potentially destroy all spells and traps on the field. That's unlikely because it does have to be destroyed by battle. Moving on, we are also playing the Buster Lock. If you don't know, if this is equipped to a monster, it locks your opponent out of the extra deck. So, there you go. And then lastly, we are playing Mecha Phantom Beast Olion. This card is the special summon off of Halqifibrax most of the time. So you just special summon out the level 2 tuner, and then you're able to go into your level 6 or your level 8 or whatever it may be, and then you get a token off of that as well, which is very nice. Now, you could also play a Link Spider in the extra deck to facilitate the token a little bit better, but I'm not going to be showing that off in here, so I instead decided to include Leonite. Leonite's very cuttable from the extra deck. Instead, you could replace it with the Link Spider. One thing that I do want to note is, in terms of hand traps, Nibiru is one of the best, simply because it's a rock. It allows you to, if you Nibiru your opponent, on the follow-up turn, you could Researcher special summon itself in order to get your play started, because this is a rock. As for other hand traps, just basically anything. You could play Ash Blossom, you could play Maxi, you could play Gamma, you could play Droll. It doesn't really matter. And you do have quite a bit of space here. So, yeah. The other cards that I want to quickly talk about are the spells and traps for the Adamancipators. We have Adamancipator Signs, which is a monster reborn for rock monsters, which is very nice. And it can stack your deck if you bring back an Adamancipator, which is also very nice. And then we have Adamancipator Friends, which excavates the top cards of your deck, equal to the number of rock monsters you control +5, and then you can add one of the excavated rock monsters with a level equal to or lower to the number of the excavated cards. So basically, at most, you're going to be able to add like a level 6 or lower. You're never really going to be able to add something like a Nibiru to your hand or a Block Dragon, but it's still a good consideration for playing, just because it allows you to excavate and add cards, which is very nice. So let's quickly move on to the extra deck. Most of this is pretty staple. The big things to note are Dragite, Leonite, and Raptite. Raptite is the best level 6 to go into because it excavates cards and then special summons a rock, and it can special summon even in Adamancipators. So you could go for one Adamancipator, special summon out whatever rock it may be, go into a 6, and then special summon out another Adamancipator to get even more excavates. So all in all, a very, very solid card. Leonite adds a card to your hand instead of just special summoning it, but it does add an Adamancipator card instead of just a rock. So you could potentially add something like Signs to your hand, or you could add Seeker and then special summon it, or Seeker or Researcher or something along those lines. So not bad, but definitely the most cuttable one. And then Dragite, as I had already mentioned, if there's a Water in the Grave, it does have a spell and trap card negate, but also during, if your opponent has cards on the field, you can excavate the top 5 cards and then return cards your opponent controls up to the number of rock monsters excavated, which is very nice. Just a return is very nice. Also, it doesn't target. So non-target return is some really, really solid removal. We are also playing Baron because we are playing 8 in Block Dragon and a bunch of 2 tuners. So this is very easy to summon. We are also playing Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload Savage Dragon is just very solid because we're also playing a myriad of links. And then Herald of Arclight as our last synchro. We are playing 1xZ in Gallant Granite because it searches out Block Dragon. Pretty simple. We're playing Access Code, Apollosa, Crystron Halqifibrax, as well as many targets for it. We are playing IP Masquerena and Unicorn, and then, of course, the Prank Kids Dodal Do and Meow Meow Moo for the Prank Kids, and 1 Union Carrier for the Buster Lock. Now, note with Union Carrier, you do need to have either a Dark or a Dragon on your side of the field in order for you to actually be able to Buster Lock. The only real targets that we have are things like IP Masquerena, Nightmare Unicorn, Access Code, or the Borreload Savage Dragon. Other than that, we don't really have any other targets. So yeah, most of the time you're just going to be equipping the Buster Dragon to your Borreload Savage Dragon. All right, so let's hop into some replays, and I'll show you how this deck combos. All right, so real quick, I just wanted to show you the Prank Kid combo. So if you have a Prank Kid, either you excavate it or you're able to normal summon it. What you can do is you just send this to the graveyard in order to special summon out a Meow Meow Moo. Then Meow Meow Moo will, Prank Kid Roxy's will activate. You do need to have another card in hand. I don't have a card in hand, but we'll just banish from the top of the deck. say I had a Doki Doki, we can banish a card from our hand to draw a card, and then we are able to special summon out the Dropsies. You do have to have a card in hand in order to special summon the Dropsies, so do keep that in mind. And then from here, we will link these two off, send them to the grave, in order to go into our Dodal Dodal Do. Now, this will allow the Dropsies to special summon out a Roxy's from the deck, as well as gain you 1,000 life points. So we will special summon out the Roxy's from the deck, and now we have a link to on our side of the field that could tribute itself off in order to add back two Prank Kid monsters from the graveyard to our hand, and we have Roxy's on our side of the field, all off of that one monster. So again, just that's how the basic combo for for the Prank Kids side of this goes. Alright, so this is where Unexpected Die comes in. So say we have our Seeker and Researcher, or just one or the other. What we can do here is we can activate our Unexpected Die. We can special summon out the Easter Island head, and then now we have a rock for us to start our combos with. So we can special summon out the Researcher, and then from here we can excavate the top cards. So what we can do is we can go declare, I don't know, / excavate. Nope, I don't know how to do it. So I think I have to do this. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is okay. I just want to say that with this, it is very non-linear. You just kind of have to go with what you are given. So here we have Doki Doki as well as Raptite that we could potentially special summon. All of these we can't special summon, so they're just going to go back into the deck. But we have Doki Doki, again, one of the best special summons here. We also have Raptite, which could potentially place us another rock monster, and if we had Seeker in our hand, it would be better to go for Raptite. If we didn't have Seeker, it would be better to go for Doki Doki, because then we could pitch something in order to special summon something else out. So here, because I have Seeker, I'm going to special summon out the Raptite. Raptite effect, oh, sorry, all of these have to go back. Oh, they go to the bottom of the deck. There we go. It doesn't really matter because we are going to be stacking our deck here in a second. Now, I am playing a 46 card deck, but this is just to show you guys what cards you can play and what you can do. So yeah, we're gonna stack our deck. I believe this is a rock monster. Yeah, just any rock monster. I'm gonna stack this guy to the top of the deck. So I will add him to the hand and then place him on the top of our deck. And then we can special summon out our Seeker here. Now we can activate Seeker's effect in order to banish everything. Oh, nope, I banished it face down. Whoops, that was supposed to... Yeah, we're just excavating. This is going to take a while for Dueling Book because, of course, it is. But anyway, we can special summon out the Koaki Mairu Guardian. Again, it's just really good to have that in rotation because of the fact that it is an Omni Negate. Now, even if my opponent were to have dropped into Biru here, we do have the Koaki Mairu Guardian. Since this was the 5th summon, they can't really actually do anything now. So yeah, that's what makes Adamancipator so crazy. And now we have level 2. We have 2 level 2 tuners as well as 3 level 4 level 4 monsters. So what we can do is, hold on, we will send 2 of these to the grave in order to special summon out our Raptite. Raptite here can activate its effect again in order to I'm just going to view the top 5. So we can see we have Supplier here, we have another Dragite, we have Doki Doki, all of which are good. Since I have no cards in hand, we're going to act as if I have no cards in hand. Doki Doki is not very good here. I could go Supplier to search out another Guardian here, which gets us another level 4, which is also very good because that gets us into Gallant Granite, which then gets us to Block Dragon. We could also go Dragite to draw a card if I feel like I need to draw a card, potentially. But I think here we are going to go for Supplier, and then Supplier will add to our hand the Guardian. Now, again, I haven't normal summoned thus far, so I could even normal summon this Guardian if I wanted to, right? But what we are going to do is I am going to... Oh, hold on. Let us overlay these two on top of each other, and we will make ourselves a Gallant Granite. Then Gallant Granite's effect can detach in order to search out our Block Dragon. So Block Dragon, add it to the hand. From here, we can banish the 3 rocks that we have in grave. We have the Raptite, the Seeker, and the Easter Island head. So we can banish all of these in order to special... Oh, I added it to the hand. Whoops, not what I wanted. There we go. In order to special summon out our Block Dragon. Now, with a 2 and a 8, we can go into Baron. So let's send everything to the grave. And bring out Baron. So now we have another Omni Negate on the field. So now we can actually use this Koaki Mairu Guardian if we need to. But Block Dragon here is going to trigger. Since it was sent to the graveyard, it's able to search out up to 3 Earth monsters, I think. No, Rock monsters. Rock monsters. From my deck with the total levels equaling 8. So what we can do is we can add a Researcher to our hand. Now we have already used its effect, so we can't actually use the special summon effect again, nor the Excavate. We can add Analyzer here, since we haven't used that one. Or we could add another level 4, like a Gigantes or something like that, which might be more worth it now that I'm thinking about it. But we can also add a Doki Doki to our hand. Again, haven't normaled, so we still have a lot of options. Realistically, I don't know which one would be better to normal summon here, because our zones are kind of clogged. But realistically, we could just bring back the Block Dragon again, and then potentially link off with that there. Or we could go for Analyzer here. It all just kind of depends on what you want to do. I think the best option here is to actually just go for a... let's actually just normal summon Researcher here. Let's go Researcher with the... Wait, hold on. I don't have anything. Okay, never mind. Let's go into a... Yeah, I could go into Leonite. I could link off into a Union Carrier. I could link off into Crystron Hulk Vibrax. I could do... there's a whole bunch that I could do. So let's do this. Let's go and link off into a Crystron Hulk Vibrax here. Another card that probably should be banned. We can use the Crystron Hulk Vibrax effect in order to special summon out our... he's in here somewhere, you know. Where'd he go? Where is Mega Phantom Beast O-Lion? Oh, he was at the top there. Okay, so we can special summon out the O-Lion. We can send the Crystron Hulk Vibrax to the grave, as well as the O-Lion, in order to special summon out the Union Carrier. Because they do have to have the same type or attribute. Luckily, both of these are the same type. They are both machines. So we can send both of those to the grave to special summon out the Union Carrier. And then we can get a token that is level 3 from our O-Lion. At this point, we could special summon out a Block Dragon as well. So we can banish... we banish this one. We banish this one. We banish this one. In order to special summon out the Block Dragon. Now, from here, I can go into a IP Mask Arena with the token and the Block Dragon, and go into IP. Yep, okay, and then we can activate Block Dragon again. Wait, no, that one is a hard once per turn. The search, I believe. Yes. Yeah, so the search is once per turn. So we can't get another search, but at the very least, we now have an IP Mask Arena on our side of the field. So, there's that. Realistically, I was trying to go into the Borreload Savage Dragon. I kind of clogged my zones a bit ineffectively, so I couldn't figure out the way to do that. But in all honesty, I could still activate our Union Carrier here in order to equip to the IP Mask Arena our Buster to spell and trap card. So now these two are equipped. Here, let me put a counter. There's the counter. There we go. So these two, there we go. These two are equipped to each other. So as long as IP Mask Arena is on the field, the opponent cannot go into the extra deck. But realistically, it would be better if I had gone into the Borreload Savage Dragon. Again, I couldn't quite figure it out because I'm dumb. I could have gone like into Leonite, but I didn't really want to consider Leonite. I wanted to act as if it wasn't there. We'll show you that later. But in all honesty, this is still pretty good. I could even bring back the Block Dragon again. I could banish the Researcher and then 2 from my hand as well to bring him back onto the field and then have the extra material. And then on the opponent's turn, what we could do is we could send this to the grave along with this and potentially the Block Dragon to go into either a 2-mat or a 3-mat Apollosa. We could also potentially use those two in order to go into a Nightmare Unicorn to pitch a card and then return a card from my opponent's hand or my opponent's field into the deck. So again, we still have follow-ups. It wasn't the greatest, as you could tell, but that is a basic combo, or basically how it works in general. So yeah, let's just try some more. Most of this is basically going to be just me testing out specific hands and doing like test hands and stuff like that. Because again, the combo is very non-linear, and I feel like this is the best way just to showcase how the deck kind of functions. Alright, so in this hand, it is very different. We have a normal summon with Koaki Mairu Guardian, but we don't have an actual way to special summon out anything unless we normal summon Seeker. So what we are going to do is I'm going to just normal summon the Seeker here. I'm going to activate its effect. We're going to use this to view the top 5 cards of our deck. We end up seeing a Doki Doki here. This is actually really good. We could stack the deck with Raptite, which is, again, a consideration because we could stack something like Analyzer to then special summon it out, or we could go for Doki Doki and just immediately special summon it out. It, again, depends on what you want to do or what you're playing. Now, I didn't showcase Doki Doki last time, so I'm going to special summon it out this time. We're just going to act as if those crystals aren't there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pitch our Koaki Mairu Guardian from our hand because we are going to use the effect of our Doki Doki here. If I could figure out where, there it is. Okay, so now we are able to special summon out our Analyzer. We could special summon out something like Roxy's as well here, but I do want to get more Adamancipators into rotation and potentially set up a negate as quickly as possible. If we're able to reveal something like a Supplier or a Koaki Mairu Guardian, that would be very nice, just to give us a negate as quickly as possible. So we are going to activate this effect to view the top 5 cards of our deck. We actually didn't really do very well here. We did see the statue, we saw Tackle Crusader, both options, not the greatest of options, but they are there. We could also go for another Doki Doki potentially if we wanted to, but I think the best option here is to go for a Tackle Crusader. So we're going to just bring out the Tackle Crusader, and then here we are going to actually send the Seeker and the Doki Doki to the grave in order to go for a level 4 Synchro Summon of Herald of Arclight. Now again, this is the 5th summon where we get a negate out on the 5th summon, preventing the opponent from Nibiruing us. Now at this point, we could go into our Gallant Granite and then search out the Block Dragon. So let's do that. First of all, let's overlay these two, and then we will overlay this guy, and then we will detach in order to search out our Block Dragon. And I'm going to skip a step. We're just going to special summon out the Block Dragon by banishing 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't matter too much what you banish. I think keeping Adamancipators around is a little bit more worthwhile. Here I banished it because I just wasn't paying attention. But all in all, this is still fine. So what we are going to do is make sure that you also do keep in mind that any card that is sent from the deck or the grave, or the hand to the grave is actually going to be banished instead. So do keep that in mind. However, that's not going to come up for us right here. So we're going to link these two off into a... these are both rocks, if I am recalling correctly. Yes, okay. So we can go into either an IP Masquerena, which is always a good option, or we can go into Union Carrier to potentially set up a Buster Lock. So let's go into the Union Carrier once again. Here we are able to use the effect of the Block Dragon to search out some more cards. Now, we haven't used Seeker's effect to special summon itself, nor have we used our Researcher's effect. So we are going to add the Researcher to our hand. We are going to add the Seeker to our hand. Now, we have excavated with the Seeker, but we can still use it as just a tuner. And now we can add another summonable monster. Like, for example, oh, actually, we don't have any rocks, so we can't actually special summon. Oh, no. Let's add... Yeah, we'll add Analyzer here. I sent it to the grave. That was not what I wanted. To the hand. Now, because Block Dragon is so busted, we can actually solve our issue by banishing everything that we currently have in the grave. So we can banish, banish, banish in order to special summon back our Block Dragon. This is why Block Dragon should be banned. So now we do have a rock to continue our combos from here. So again, we can just special summon out this guy, and then we can special summon out this one as well. And then what we can do is we can send both of these two to the grave in order to special summon out the Baron. And then from here, we can view the top 5 cards with our Researcher. We saw a Roxy's, so we will special summon Roxy's. We can't special summon the Gigantes, so we can't do that. But here we can go for I could go for Leonite here in order to add a Speller Trap or a Adamancipator card from our deck to our hand. We could go for Raptite to potentially get another special summon, which could then put us into... then we could go into the Borreload Savage. I think the best play here is to actually just go for the Meow Meow Moo here first. Send off the Roxy's, and then with Roxy's effect, we have to banish our... we could either banish Max C, or we could banish our Analyzer. The reason I want to keep Max C is because you can actually use Max C with Block Dragon, which is why it's so crazy. So definitely play Max C in the deck, but you can actually send away the Block Dragon in order to, send away the Max C in order to special summon Block Dragon. So keeping it either in hand or in grave is also very nice. So I'm actually going to end up banishing the Analyzer here in order to special summon out the, where is it? Dropsies. And then we can send the Dropsies and the Meow Meow Moo to the graveyard in order to go for the Dodal Dodal Do. And then here we can special summon out the second Roxy's. So Roxy's is back now. Now, I could either tribute off the Prank Kids Dodal Dodal Do in order to go for a... in order to just clear our field so that we could go for a level 8 Synchro if we were able to. Or what I could do now is I could just potentially go into a Apollosa. So what I can do is we could send these 3 to the graveyard in order to go for the Apollosa. And this has got 3 counters. Now, notably, without a Union Carrier target, we aren't able to Buster Lock. So potentially doing this isn't as worth it. So let's take a step back and see what we could do if we ended up revealing... or not revealing, but instead just sending this to the grave to add back 2 monsters. So let's add back the Dropsies and the Roxy's to our hand. And then we can go for a 6 here. So let's go for Leonite. I'll show you what Leonite does. So we'll send these 2 to the grave. I'm actually going to move this guy over so that we keep our link arrows open. So I'm going to reveal the top 5 cards of our deck. I actually whiffed here because the top 5 cards are all their Supplier, Doki Doki, and stuff like that. Had I been able to search out signs, I could have continued the combo. So let's just say that these 2 switched places, and I did end up revealing signs. So let's go and add signs to our hand, because this can add any Adamancipator card. So we can go for the signs here in order to special summon it back. I could either special summon back the Researcher, which again is a tuner. I could special summon out the Seeker. Both of these will allow me to stack the deck as well, but I have used both of their effects. I could also just special summon out Roxy's here as well, but we're just going to special summon out one of the tuners. Then we will link these 2 off. It doesn't matter if I stack my deck at this point, because we're basically not going to be looking at it. But we can go for the Borreload Savage Dragon now. And now Borreload Savage Dragon can equip the Dodal Dodal Do. It will get 2 counters. 1 and 2. And then we can activate this guy's effect in order to add the Buster Dragon to our Borreload. So we'll put a counter on that to signify that it is equipped. And that is a pretty common board. And to top it all off, I could even bring back the Block Dragon one more time in order to potentially have additional follow-up. I could even do the Block Dragon, special summon it in order to then go into something like a Masquerena. I could use the... I could use this one and this one in order to go into Masquerena, or something along those lines, right? Is it worth it to potentially do that? Maybe, because then you could link off the Union Carrier on the following turn. It can't be used as link material, it's the turn it's summoned, but you could use it on the following turn to go into a format Apo. You could also potentially go into a Nightmare Unicorn. So it is worth considering. I actually really prefer having Herald of Arclight, just because there are a lot of effects that send cards to the graveyard specifically. Like, for example, Maxi, it does have to send cards, or it does have to send a card to the graveyard. So all in all, it's still worth it to have Herald of Arclight. That means they can't, like, Forbidden Droplets you and send a monster to prevent you from just negating it. So again, it's something I prefer. But yeah, this is a pretty common board that you can end on. As you saw, we didn't even have the greatest fans, but because we were able to excavate pretty well, we were able to basically get to this. Now, I did cheat a little by adding signs, but I could have gone for the Raptite there and ended on something similar, but not quite as strong. So yeah, there you go. All right, so let's say you weren't able to put up a negate within 5 summons and you get Nibiru. Well, you can still play through it with either not having used the Researcher effect to special summon itself while having Researcher in hand, or while having a normal summon of any of your Adamancipators. You're still able to play. And as you saw, there is still a high chance that you have one of those resources available to you. It's not the highest of chances, but it's still pretty decent. So what can you do? First of all, if we have Researcher, we can special summon her to the field, or we could just normal summon one of our Adamancipator tuners and continue comboing from there. Because of the fact that the token that we get off of Nibiru is in fact a rock, it does allow us to special summon out the Adamancipator Researcher. Now, if we had something like a Block Dragon in our hand and everything else was sent to the graveyard, we could potentially just special out the Block Dragon as well. We could go Block Dragon here as well, say this is in the grave. And then at that point, we could just link off for an IP Masquerena. Depending on the amount of materials that we still have either in grave or in hand, we could potentially bring back the Block Dragon, and then with whatever we ended up searching, we could special summon either with the Adamancipator Seeker. We could potentially normal summon. We could just end on that. It's not the greatest, but potentially we have at least some follow-up. And with IP Masquerena, we could at the very least go into a Nightmare Unicorn with the Block Dragon, search additional follow-up, and potentially interrupt our opponent there at key moments. So it's at least something. So even through Nibiru, there is plays that you can make. So don't be too afraid of Nibiru. Alright, let's say you don't actually have an Adamancipator in your hand when you start your turn. Well, if you have something like Doki Doki, this is easily solved. You normal summon Doki Doki, you either pitch a level 2 or a level 4, so here we have a level 4, and then you will summon the corresponding level from the deck for your Adamancipators. So here we are going to just special summon out the Analyzer. At this point, it doesn't even matter if we whiff, because we can immediately just go into a Raptite and try again. But let's see what we can get. We actually ended up seeing a Koaki Mairu Guardian, which is perfect. So we're going to summon out the Guardian here, and then we will send these two to the grave in order to special summon out Raptite. With Raptite, we can potentially see a... Oh, did I shuffle? I did. I wasn't supposed to shuffle, but oh well. We can potentially see an Adamancipator. So here we go. We saw an Analyzer. We also see Researcher here. Researcher is better just because we haven't used the effect yet. So we will activate the effect of the Researcher now in order to reveal again. We see Supplier, bada bing, bada boom, we're off to the races. And I think you can understand more or less the combo from here. So there you go. All right, let's say that you, instead of having Doki Doki, you have Supplier. Well, luckily enough, we have Roxy's here, which is a combo starter in and of itself. So let's normal summon the Roxy's, send it to the grave in order to link summon our Meow Meow Moo. Then with the Roxy's effect, we do need another card for this, but let's say that we did have another card. So we're just going to banish the top card of our deck in order to draw a card, and then we are going to go and special summon out a Dropsies. So Dropsies will then be used in order to go for a Do. So we'll send both of these to the graveyard. We'll gain 1,000 life points, and we will special summon... Not what I wanted. We will special summon out the Roxies from our deck. Now, I did happen to miss a step that we were supposed to do, but because the Meow Meow Moo was sent to the graveyard and it is also a rock, we can actually special summon here the Koaki Mairu supplier. So we could either have special summoned it off of the Roxies being sent to the graveyard or the Meow Meow Moo. Now, with supplier special summoning itself, it is able to search out the Koaki Mairu Guardian. Oh, no, it's a search. So we add this to the hand. But now from here, we can go and overlay into the Gallant Granite. I'll send the Roxies to the graveyard for the material in order to search out our Block Dragon. Now, this is why Block Dragon is banned. I've mentioned this before, but yeah. At this point, we basically have full combo. We can banish all three, the two Roxies and the Meow Meow Moo from the graveyard in order to special summon it onto the field. And at that point, we can link these two away. Go for Union Carrier. Go for IP. Go for the rest of our combos pretty easily from there. So not that big of a deal once we get into Block Dragon. All right, so now I am going to start doing some test hands because I feel like that is just the best way to really showcase the deck and the combos that it can do, and more specifically the starting point of the deck. I feel like coming towards the end of the combo, it makes a little bit more sense of just kind of like what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to just end on as many negates as you can, bring back Block Dragon. Wow, that is hard to say. Bring back Block Dragon as many times as you can and just utilize that effect. So let's just start off with this. Now, again, this is an unoptimized build. I'm playing only one Unexpected Die. I'm only playing the one Easter Island head. I'm playing like Revival Golem and Tackle Crusader and stuff like that. So it's not perfect, but at the very least, we can showcase what the deck does. So I'm actually going to start off here with the normal summon of Doki Doki, and then we are just going to special summon out our Researcher. Here, I'm going to activate the Researcher effect first in order to search the top 5 cards. We actually did miss, which is pretty problematic, but we can activate the effect of the Doki Doki in order to send the Leonite. Oh, I meant to send this to the grave. Whoops. In order to special summon out our Analyzer. So now we can use our Analyzer effect. We can view the top 5 cards. Hey, we ended up seeing Guardian. We could also go Supplier here, but we've already normal summoned, so I'm actually going to go for the Guardian here. So we also have Signs as additional follow-up at this point. So what I can do is we can go for a Raptite using R4 and R2. So we will send these two to the grave. You might be wondering why I don't go for the Arclight, the Herald of Arclight here instead. We already have a negate up for specifically Nibiru. That's mostly why. But we can go for Raptite here. Let's view the top 5 cards. We did see a Raptite here. We also saw Roxies. I think Roxies is a little bit better just because we don't have any more excavations that we can actually utilize with the Raptite. So it's actually going to be better for us to go for the Roxies. At this point, we can just go for the full Roxies line. So we will go for the Meow Meow Moo. Activate Roxy's effect. We are going to banish the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. If my opponent had Max Seed, we probably would have used that and had to banish the signs. So that is something to keep in mind. We could instead have to banish this. Oh, sorry. It draws us a card. I forgot. Oh, wow. Drawing Seeker off the top. That seems fair. So yeah, we're going to special summon out Dropsies here, and then we will send both of these to the grave in order to go into our Doodle-Doodle-Doo. Now, we could also use the Doodle-Doodle-Doo and the Raptite to go into Union Carrier if we so chose. So that's another thing that we can keep in mind. Since they are both wins, you just need the same type or attribute. You don't need both. So yeah, let's special summon out our Prinked Roxy's. Now, this being at 2 does mean that if you end up drawing both of them, or you end up drawing one and special summoning one from the deck, you can't actually do this full line. So that is, again, something to keep in mind. But now we have our Roxy's on the field. We're actually going to special summon out Seeker here first. And then we are going to go into our... let's go into a... Oh, I've special summoned this into a terrible position. Because... Okay, let's actually not special summon that there, because that is our only link arrow. I was going to go into Crystron Halqifibrax, but I would have had to use our Seeker. I guess I could have used the Doodle-Doodle-Doo in order to do that. Actually, let's do that. Yeah. I do special summon this here. Let's go into our... So we'll send this guy to the grave, and this one to the grave, in order to go into a Crystron Halqifibrax. So we'll go into Crystron Halqifibrax here, and then we can special summon out our O-Lion. So we can special summon out the O-Lion. We can send both of these to the graveyard now in order to special summon out our... this guy. And then at this point, I can either make a token here, which is okay. It's not great, though. Or what I could do is I could save the space and potentially get something off of Seeker. But I think it's always worth it to get the token here. At the very least, I could... I'm not playing Link Spider in this, but if I was, I could link it off for a Link Spider, or I could use it as material for a IP Masquerena. So it's never really bad. It's just not great. Yeah. Granted, I could... You know, again, if I'm playing Link Spider, I could link off into a Link Spider and then go into a 3-mat Apo or a 4-mat Apo or something like that. So, you know, things to consider. Anyway, let's get the token. Might as well. So again, our fields are clogged, but let us equip this guy. And then we can link off... Oh, actually, we could just send these two to the grave in order to go for our Union Carrier here. I forgot that it gives me a machine token. I'm so used to getting rock tokens. But yeah, here we can go for the Union Carrier effect in order to equip the Buster Sword to our Borreload Savage. Now, Borreload Savage does have the 2 negates at this point, so there's that. We can also use the effect of Seeker here, so let's see what we see. We do end up seeing a Revival Golem, so that's actually pretty good. So we're going to special summon this guy into defense position, and then we will overlay this one with the Roxy's in order to go into our Gallant Granite and get our Block Dragon into rotation. There we go. And now we can go for Block Dragon. Okay, so now we can just banish 3. It doesn't really matter which 3. It's best to keep the link monsters around for a potential access code later. So do keep that in mind. So we will banish the Raptite, we will banish the Researcher, and we will banish the Roxy's, I guess. Oh, I added it to my hand. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. There we go. And then we can special summon out this guy. Now, with our 10 and our 8 and our 2, we can go into the 10 of the Baron. And now at this point, we could use the Guardian here. We could send this guy to the grave, as well as the Gallant Granite to the grave in order to go into a IP Masquerena. Again, IP Masquerena with the Union Carrier on the opponent's turn allows you to go into a 2-mat Apo, which at the very least is 2 negates. So that's pretty nice. And then the last card in the hand is Signs. I could either keep this in my hand if I feel like the board is sufficient, and given the fact that we still have Block Dragon in the grave, it probably is. We don't really have much else that we could go for here. I could potentially go for something like a Herald of Arclight. I could go for a Dragite potentially as well. Those are like my best options. Other than that, I can't really go for anything else. And the thing is, I've already used up all of my Adamancipator's effects. I've used Analyzer, I've used Seeker, I've used Researcher, which is currently banished. So it's not really worth it. It's better just to save this for follow-up. So there you All in all, it's not the craziest of boards, but again, we can still just banish an additional 3. We could go 1, 2, and 3 to bring back Block Dragon, because it's not a hard once per turn for some reason. So all in all, it's a decently good board. Again, we could use the IP Masquerena and the Block Dragon and the Union Carrier in order to go into a 3-mat Apo as well. We could potentially make a 2-mat Apo. We could use just these two to go into a Nightmare Unicorn. Kind of depends on what we want to go for. Now, Block Dragon, when it is sent to the graveyard with the IP Masquerena, is able to search out more cards. So, all in all, with this, it is a lockout of the extra deck. It is a 2 Omni Negates on the opponent's turn, potentially more Monster Negates or another form of disruption with the IP Masquerena, and yeah, that's not too great, but it is pretty nice. So I just realized that I just said that it's not too great, but it's pretty nice. That is a total lie. That board was amazing and totally unfair. I don't know why I was thinking that it was bad. I think it's because technically you could make it better. There are better boards. You could end on an additional Herald of Arclight, which makes that board so incredibly insane. You could potentially end on an additional Dragite as well. It's very difficult to do because you do kind of have to get the exact right things in order and in place, but it is possible, which is why I was like, it's not like the greatest. But yeah, honestly, that board was great, and that's something that you can commonly do with this deck. So if you just want to like combo off and make a truly unbeatable board, it's worth considering playing that. Because even if it gets Kaiju, even if it gets Solemn Judgment, or not Solemn Judgment, Forbidden Droplets, or something along those lines, oftentimes because of Block Dragon, you're able to continually play, and you're still able to do things. So as you can see here, we drew another hand without a Adamancipator. So what are we going to do? I think it's pretty simple, but we are just going to normal summon out our Doki Doki. We're going to activate the effect of our Doki Doki to pitch the Doki Doki to the graveyard in order to special summon out a level 2 tuner. Here we could special summon out Seeker. I think special summoning out the Seeker here is a little bit better because I see Seeker less often, or I want to see Seeker less often. I'd rather see Researcher. Researcher is just slightly better because of the fact that if it's added to our hand, we could special summon it a little bit easier, whereas Seeker does require a little bit more setup. So yeah, we are going to go for a Seeker's effect here. We are going to reveal the top 5 cards, and hey, look at that, we did draw Supplier, which is pretty nice. Now granted, because a rock monster, oh sorry, we didn't control it, never mind. Now granted, we could just special summon the Supplier, but since we already have Supplier in our hand, let's actually go for the Raptite here. So Raptite allows us to stack our deck. So let's actually set an Analyzer to the top of our deck. So let's add it to our hand. And then from there, we will stack it to the top of the deck. All right. Now, the reason that we do this is because we can now go into a Raptite by sending these two to the grave. Now, granted, if I special summon a Supplier here, that is summon number 5. So, I'm going to avoid doing that, and we're going to activate the effect of our Raptite in order to see what we get off the top. So we actually didn't reveal a Guardian, which means that we are just going to commit to the board, the Analyzer here. So we're going to shuffle it. Technically, everything is supposed to go to the bottom of the deck and not be shuffled, but I'm just speeding things up, because you'd only be able to see the top 5, so who knows what the next cards would have been. Anyway, at this point, I could beat Nibiru potentially, which it's a good thing that we have Supplier in hand, because if my board were to be wiped, let's just simulate that, okay? Let's say that I ended up getting Nibiru here, and I get a big old token. Well, guess what? My face-up rock monsters I control were sent to the graveyard. So let's special summon out this Supplier that we had in our hand, which then gets us a search of our Koaki Mairu Guardian. Whoops, nope, it's a search. Now, because we drew signs, we can continue to play the game. We can actually go and search out special summon out the Analyzer and then stack a card. So what card would be best to stack? Probably something like a Roxy's here, or potentially, if we are playing a Dragite, that's again another really solid option. I could also potentially go for a Doki Doki if I wanted to go for Leonite, but I think the best option here is to, let's actually go for the Dragite since we haven't used it all that much. So we'll banish it, and then this is probably the better way to do this, and then put it to the top of the deck, and then this goes to the grave. So now we can activate the effect of the Analyzer here, and we can special summon out the boy himself, Dragite. We drew the head as well. Kind of funny. So now Dragite will allow us to draw a card. So we'll just draw a card. Fantastic. Researcher is perfect. We haven't used Researcher's effect yet, either to excavate nor to special summon itself. So we have another way to continue playing. And again, we simulated a Nibiru dropping on our 5th summon, which is pretty common. Not too terribly common, but it is something to worry about. So here, let's actually go like this. We will overlay these two in order to go for a Gallant Granite. Now, one thing that is a problem is this token, while it is a rock and it is something that we could potentially link off, it is currently taking up a zone, and it is not an optimal level for synchro summoning or anything like that. So do keep that in mind as well. You do want to get rid of it as quickly as you can. So let's search out the Block Dragon. And at this point, I think that you guys kind of get the idea. Basically, we've got Block Dragon, which means we've got full combo, which means I could make a board just like that previous one. Alright, so I hope that this was a somewhat informative look into Adamancipator and how the deck works. Again, some options to consider specifically when deck building is using something like Unexpected Die with a normal rock monster such as the Easter Island Head, because it's funny. Just things to consider overall. Block Dragon's crazy and absolutely makes this deck overpowered as all be, and definitely should be. I'm only playing 2. Realistically, you could be playing 3. Most people actually do play 3. I think it's a little bit too bricky. Like, you don't actually want to see it in your hand, and you have a consistent way to search it with Gallant Granite, so it's not all that common to not see it. You oftentimes just end up seeing the guy himself. So it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that this was helpful. If it was, drop a like down below. If it wasn't, tell me why down below in the comments. You could drop a dislike, whatever. Just let me know what I did wrong, what, you know, the combos that were incorrect or what have you. Because I know that I'm not perfect, and I probably did something terribly wrong, especially that first combo. That was not very good. But anyway, that's going to be it. Hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.